Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Wednesday morning trading room. And the market's just opening up here now. For those of you new to the room, let me just give you a quick little overview what you're looking at here. I've got the complete DTS system along with the Raptor. So what that means is here in the top left, I have the Hawk Micro Scalper. Top right, I have the Falcon Swing Trader. Bottom left is the Eagle Trend Trader. And then the bottom right, of course, is the Raptor. You'll also notice that I'm running the Bollinger Band suite on my charts. It's a new addition, something that I added since highlighting it on a Rapid Hole Friday a couple of weeks ago. The market I like to follow is the NASDAQ. I think dollar for dollar, the NASDAQ is going to be pretty tough to beat. But if there is something you would like to see, by all means, I will do my best for you. And then, of course, if you have any questions, please don't be shy about asking. That's why I'm here, to help make you proficient in your trading and understanding your trading tools. Yesterday, a very, very neutral session. This now the daily chart for the NASDAQ. Very, very neutral session. You can see just a perfect doji bar. And as has been the case for at least the last couple of weeks, we got some very, very small ranges. Volume was up a little bit, not markedly so, but it was up a little bit yesterday. What I'm kind of keeping the lookout for is a divergence in the volume and the price chart. Typically, volume has a direct relationship with price, meaning big bars should have big volume, small bars should have small volume. If you start seeing small bars with big volume, volume bars like this one here, then that tells you something's going on. There's going to be a move either higher or lower, and if the market's not giving a hint which way it may be going, you can just bracket. You can just bracket the market and trade the breakout accordingly. But right now, I would say that this is pretty much in line. Volume is off a little bit. The market is off a little bit. So I can't say at this point that we're going to have any serious sort of breakout. But you never know. So like I said, the market really not moving very far. You can see the overnight relatively quiet. This was yesterday's session, so we closed up here actually around the 7130 zone, and that was it for the overnight session here. A lot of back and forth. Not a lot of trading though. So we're still a little bit constipated. I might be inclined ever so slightly to give the nod to the buyers, and that's only because if I highlighted this as a overnight trading range, you can see now we have the breakout, we have the retest. We could put a just in case order above here, the just in case order there, just in case the market continues with its uptrend. We don't really have our first in sync signal on the Eagle just yet. And trade forecasters saying we are in scalp mode, moving to swing mode in a couple of minutes' time. So we'll see how that holds. And yeah, right now we're fairly neutral across the board. I haven't checked the reports calendar to see if there's anything going on here today. All right, looks like we may make a run at this now. So the idea behind this strategy is that if we deem this to be a sideways trading range, once the market breaks out of the trading range, it's going to retest, and then we're going to see whether or not the buyers have enough going on that they can continue to push the market higher. If not, it will fail and likely go retest the bottom end of the trading range. To that end, depending how aggressive you want to be, you could also look to short this low. That is a judgment call. Oops. Okay, come on. There we go. Get that out of the way. All right. So they did bring me in. I will throw a stop loss order in below here. Stop it. And let's take a look here at our support and resistance lines. Maybe we can use, well, the median line parked right there at 71.19. Primary resistance way up here. I'll throw an initial profit order up there, but I have a feeling I'm going to be adjusting it. You can see the Falcon here, at least according to the Bollinger Suite, getting a little bit on the bearish side, although we may also be printing a late filter entry. And getting a little bit of a Bollinger squeeze going on here in the Bollinger Suite. The Bollinger squeeze happens when your Bollinger Bands get very narrow. It's also kind of a precursor that a breakout may be coming. Ideally, the best stop for this trade is way down here. I'm just going to give it to the hard edge. That's all it deserves at this point. Yeah, so this is my profit target, actually kind of close to yesterday's close. Oh no, sorry, yesterday's close down here. I may take it to the overnight high. You know that. There, let's not make it work too hard. I'm not liking the hesitation. If I can get a couple of bullish bars here, I will start to roll my stop up. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to bring my stop up to here. If it fails at this point, it's very likely going to try to reverse again. I'll take a little bit more out now. I'll use this bar right here with that tail to it. Darn. Maybe I was a little bit too quick on rolling my stop up, but obviously I wanted to avoid any loss. We'll see here in a moment whether or not that was a good call or whether I was just a little bit too quick. Now that we've broken this trend line here, there should be a little bit of bullish pushback. And if the buyers fail, then we can be more open to the idea of shorting. Well, we're thinking about it. You know, if I saw another full bull bar here, I would be very tempted to short right at this point. Let's take a look what's going on here with our other tools. And well, there we go. Now the hawk getting a little bit bearish already. The Raptor throwing in a short signal. It isn't a number two signal just yet. I suppose because we didn't get a big enough test of the extreme. However, you could, the BB suite is in sync here. You could consider selling that. It's going to be a little bit an aggressive trade, but you know what? I'm going to look to short it below the low of that bar right there. I'm going to use this current bar as my signal bar. And we'll see if this actually ends up coming back down. I have a feeling if this bar closes low, that we could get a little bit of follow through on that. Like I said, the Bollinger Suite already in sync, suggesting a short. All right, there we go. It brought me in. And like I said, this is kind of a visual number 2 signal. This is not printing as a number 2, but we got a few things here suggesting maybe, just maybe, the market will try to slip a little bit lower. We'll see what they got. Target for a counter trend signal, the hard edge of the trading band. Oh, there's a little bit of a bounce going on. Come on, sellers. So what I don't really want to see is a breach of that little trend line. I could adjust my stops ever so slightly. Wow, what a quiet market here today again. Not that you can't make money in these kinds of markets. Had somebody write me yesterday and he said, I don't mind the sideways markets. I made $5 grand today. Oh, all right. Nothing wrong with that. All right, come on. We'll take the trade to break even now. Oh, just sitting on my profit target. Just get down there a couple more ticks, you stinkers. Okay, so this bar's getting a bit of a wick to it. I will protect a little bit more profit. There we go. Hit the profit target. Thank you very much. And we'll remember to close out the rest of your position. Make it a habit to hit that close button when you're out of your trade. Yeah, you can see here on the trade forecaster, we're going back and forth between scalp and swing modes, and there's not a whole lot of time in between them. So they're only lasting for about 10 minutes each, which means that the market environment isn't really set. We're just kind of happy to be going back and forth between the two. But you know what? I made my profit. And as I like to remind you, if you were trading for a living even, just the ability to pull $100 out of the market a day per contract, that amounts to $20,000 over the course of the year on single contracts. $20,000, a nice chunk of change, if nothing else. You can use it to build up your trading capital so that now you can trade more than one contract. So maybe you can trade 2 contracts. That would be $40,000. 3 contracts, $60,000. 5 contracts, $100,000, and so on it goes. I think that's the true secret to trading versus trying to capitalize on a dozen opportunities throughout the day. I believe that to be much more difficult. And true to form, maybe I should have held on a little bit longer. It looks like the market's going to come down here, test the bottom end of the trading range, which could see us trading around the 70-90 mark. We'll wait. If this is going to change trend, you can see we already have a first micro macro cross here in the hawk, so the hawk full on bearish. We just got a trend change signal on the Falcon, but I want to point out, notice how the signal formed away from the trend line. When you see signals that form away from the trend line, that's fine. That doesn't mean you can't take the signal. Just be aware that the market will have a tendency to retrace to the trend line. Note here, the gap not as pronounced as it is here, but still it formed away from the trend line, produced a signal. The market is going to want to pull back to that trend line, and eventually the signal did work out. But when you see it form away from the trend line, you have to leave an appropriate stop in anticipation of that pullback. Well, we just produced a number 1 signal here on the Raptor, and we are kind of hovering around that 70-90 zone, retracing all the way back to from where we started this morning, and definitely getting a bit more bearishness, overall bearishness in the market. Oh, are they gonna tank here now that they broke the low? All right. So what we can do, that's a very, very big move. We haven't seen moves like this for, well, for a few days anyways. But that is a very, very strong move. Normally the moves, when they've gone higher, the last few days it's been like this. It goes up and it comes way down. It goes up and it comes down. Very, very nice move. Okay, but what I want to point out is that if, once again, this was our trading range, we've now broken the bottom end. I would like to see 2 bull bars here just to confirm that we have a bottom in place. You can see what happens with just a single bar. The market will waffle, but when we get a couple of bars, then we can be reasonably certain that we have a bottom, and then we can again put our just in case order below there. Yeah, thanks, Keith. Keith says Cohen and Fed Chair Powell are getting ready to testify. So, yeah, obviously that's putting a little bit of a wrinkle in the day. And once again, you can see we're waffling here. And if I can get a couple of bull bars, then I will look to short or put my just in case short in play. All right, well, we've got those couple bull bars I was looking for. So this now the retest phase after the breakout. Oops, come back here. So this the trading zone. This is the retest phase of the breakout. We'll see now whether or not the sellers have enough in here to keep the market down. Unfortunately, stop placement is going to be brutal on this. I'm going to end up running a very tight stop, which is not advisable. The best stop actually way up here, but it's going to be out of my price range. And now we're pushing back a little bit. Interesting. Oh, and the Raptor here with a pair of number 2 signals. The Raptor Bollinger Suite already bullish, as is the Falcon. And the Hawk even here with a first macro cross signal. All right, here now we also have a number 3 signal on the Raptor. It's not in sync with the Bollinger Suite just yet. If I wanted to be a little bit more aggressive, I could use this current bar as my second push opportunity. If the market heads lower, it should bring the Bollinger Suite into sync. The better entry still below the low, below this low. Oh, right down there. So let's see, maybe I shouldn't chase the market. There we go. Okay. So we're brought in, and I will put my stop loss order in play. And you can see the Bollinger Suite in sync now, at least on the Raptor and the Eagle. And let's see now where well, we've got a resistance zone right here, support at 78.25. I may try to stretch it just a little bit. If we're going to do a measured move type idea, we could actually anticipate a pretty big move. So there was the move from high to low, and now that we have started that move again, yeah, that's not bad. You can see we should get down here to the second zone of the secondary resistance. I'm going to, now that we are at the secondary support zone, however, I am going to tighten my stops up a little bit. And you know what? I don't need to be the last guy out. So I think I'll leave my profit target where it is. Maybe I'll manage it here from the Raptor now. If I can get a little bit of a swing, if we can get a little bit of a breakdown. All right, profit might be a little bit precious today, so I'm going to trail above any bar that has a wick to it. And I may be a little bit too aggressive. Let's see how much pushback we get off of the secondary support zone. But we've got a scalp target in there. Locked in. When the market's like this, I also tend to pay attention a little bit more to the Bollinger Suite. It's still outside of the lines, but see now it's starting to drift inside the lines, so I would have a tendency to get a little bit more aggressive with my stop loss at that point. All right, well, time will tell if that was wise or if I was a little bit too aggressive on that. But not a bad day for another very quiet day. Okay, getting a little bullish maybe, a little bit more of a pushback off of the secondary resistance zone. The Falcon might be working a late filter entry. But overall, another very quiet start to the day. Well, I don't know if I want to try this late filter entry signal that we have here on the Falcon. It is nice and flat. All right, let's take a look at it. I'm going to look to take it right here below those lows. I'm going to pull my exit order out of the way for now. So essentially, it's a second push on this late filter entry signal. The Bollinger's not in sync just yet, but I'm hoping that, there we go, now it's in sync. Hoping to get some follow through on that as I bring my exit order back down. Not what I wanted to see. All right, sellers got to show up in a hurry. No, I'm not holding out a whole lot of hope here. The trend line going green, the filter green, the Bollinger's bullish. It's starting to look like we might have a bottom forming. On this trend line break, I should have seen a little bit more bullish, or pardon me, bearish pushback. Didn't get it. It's just going to show you how going back to the market just one more time is not always the thing to do. If you get your profit early, just call it a day. Remember, it's done in the multiples. That's how you're going to make your money, in the multiples. Wow, got a second chance there. All right, got tagged on that little reverse, but hey, you know what? I'm okay with it. I am okay with it. The sellers showed up. We're getting some crazy swings going on here, which is making it a little bit more difficult to discern which way the market may be leaning. Now we're actually going to get a late filter entry signal to buy. There we go. There's a late filter to buy. And we'll see if it gets above that resistance zone. I'll throw an order in. Still a late filter entry signal, but wow, the volatility. I shouldn't have complained so much. I'm used to the market being comatose. Now we have all this volatility. Everything's out of sync again, so I'm going to scrub that But I did squeak out of that one without a loss, which is good. Well, and it looks like they may have drifted low enough to give me a chance at that profit target, but you know what? Like I said, I'm okay squeaking out of that one. Yeah, Mark says we're still off a little bit on our late filter entries between Ninja 7 and Ninja 8. I guess we were in sync on the earlier one, but not on the last one. A nice little trend change signal following on my earlier shorting attempt from back here. But yeah, we did get down there to the profit target eventually. When the market is in scalp mode, as it is now, you do need to run a wider stop to accommodate these kinds of swings. Because in scalp mode, the market is going to swing more frequently. That's just the way it is. Yeah, Mark's hindsight still 2020. He says, "Yeah, you should have rolled that one out." Thank you for that. Well, I think we can safely say the market a little bit more bearish at this point. And so, okay, we're here into the hard edge. We'll see if we get any pushback from the hard edge. That may open up a shorting opportunity. The hawk kind of working a borderline first micro macro cross. Okay, next signal there on the hawk will be a first micro macro cross. The raptor at the moment, the only one that's bearish. And there's the sell signal. And I'm going to throw it in this now the number 3 signal. Once again, I'm going to move my exit order out of the way to start. Okay, now that we're live, I can bring that back. So we're in sync with the Bollingers. Nice little hard edge bounce. Looking left on the chart, we've definitely got something resembling a downtrend. Ideally, the stop should be back here. You know, if I'm going to leave my stops 2 swings back, there's swing 1 right here. Here's swing 2 back here. Oh, I'm not liking the pushback off of the support zone. Sellers, where did you go? It's going to be a little cozy. I may have to give it a couple more ticks. Wow. Okay. Something's going on here. Market hasn't moved a tick. Oh, there we go, finally. Uh-oh. Okay, so there's the trend line break. Now we can expect the sellers are going to try to push back a little bit. Do they have it going on? Come on, sellers. No. Guess I'm not going to get lucky 2 times in a row. Come on, give me one more swing and we'll actually have a chance. See, like I said, the better stop still up here above this line. Because these 2 swings, or even these 3 swings, are essentially the same point. If I can get the 3rd swing, however, before getting stopped out, it will reinforce that whole 70, 67, 68 price zone. Oh, but it's testy. It's very testy. Yeah, I didn't think so. Just going back one too many times. And of course, just like I said, kind of proves the point. If we'll see if my stop were still up here at this point. See if my stop were up here. At this point now, I have a couple of bear bars. I would probably bring my stops in. So we'll play along here for a little bit and see whether or not that would have kept me out of trouble. I don't think so. I think we're still kind of looking at a bottom coming in, but it may have allowed me to reduce my risk somewhat. I got stopped right about here. So we'll see if I can do better than that stop out. Okay, if I can get a bar now with a wick to it, I will roll my stops above that bar. Ooh, yeah, here comes that bullish pushback. Like I said, I almost suspect we're seeing a little bit of a short-term bottom. Overall, I do believe the trend is down today. All right, so there's the bar with the wick. So stops will come in there. Oh, no. Oh, no, I got tagged by a couple of ticks early, I bet. Scoundrels. My entry was down here, so I can't get to break even just yet. Oh, stinkers. So now my stops would be right here, and realistically, right now my stops would be at break even. Son of a gun. They did. They tagged me early. Nuts. Oh well, it happens. Not the first time. Certainly won't be the last. Well, at least it was a small loss. Well, I'm almost tempted to say we got a little bit of a trading range going on here again. If that's the case and we see the market try to resume the trend here, I'm not sure I would classify this actually as a breakout, but I think it does open up the possibility of a bottom. Okay, there's one bear bar, there's two bears bars. Let's see if the market reverses. I can actually put a just in case order to buy right there. If this bottom holds, which is the way it is starting to look, we may see a reversal. Okay, we've got a hard edge bounce here in the Raptor already. If it continues higher, we will produce a number 2 signal. That's the counter trend signal. And as I said, this is a very aggressive posture on my part. The trend is obviously down today. There's no denying that. The trend is down. Your better opportunities will be to stay short. In fact, if you wanted, you could throw your just in case order to sell below here, and now we essentially have the market in a little bit of a bracket. All right, well, they did bring me in on that short. Kind of a second push off of that number 3 signal. Where's the next stop? Ooh, way down there. All right, well, we know 70.50 and 70.40, that whole zone was very influential. Let's kind of play it around the 70.45 zone. There we go. All right, stops now to break even. And we have found our high probability profit target. So it's there if you want it. Okay. Well, not bad. Didn't quite recover everything from that earlier trade, but pretty close. Helped offset it a little bit. Like I mentioned before, I really wouldn't be trading this much already. I would have already made my profit objective on the day. And that being a very modest $100 per contract. That should be your starting point. Once you can do that consistently, like I said, there really is no limit to how much you can earn. So whether you do it by trying to find one good trade or 2 smaller trades, I think the important thing is that you have that objective. Helps keep you focused. Oh, back into the hard edge. Oh, what another tempting selling opportunity. Whenever the market encounters the hard edge, of course, we're always looking for an opportunity to short or a reaction, in this case, an opportunity to short. All right, maybe, just maybe, I was a little bit late. We never got a signal here to short, which makes me wonder whether the market's going to turn and head higher. You can see the Falcon already bullish. The Hawk, no, the Hawk's kind of conflicted. Okay, there now we get the number 3 signal. But it's showing up a little bit late. And we're actually getting a red bar buy here now on the Hawk. So the big question is, do I think a bottom is in? Okay, so we've got the red bar buy signal right here. I'd like to buy that, adjust my orders accordingly. Oh, come back with another red bar buy signal. Okay, get my stops back. Come on, get up there. Oh, they just kissed the profit target. All right. I was going to try to give the trade a little bit more room. Obviously, I feel a little ripped off. They kissed my profit target and didn't give it to me. The red bar buy, you know, it was a weak opportunity to buy, but I did have the Bollingers in sync with it, so I thought I would give it a go. I'm starting to suspect we are witnessing a little bit of a bottom coming in. Or maybe the market's just going to keep going sideways again. Could be that. Well, at least we have a little bit more activity today. All right, here we go. We got a market that's conflicted, right? We've got a number 3 signal now with a second push. We've got a number 2 signal with a second push. I think we could pretty much bracket those two ranges and look to trade a breakout. Again, this is a very aggressive posture on my part, but we've got all this candy striping going on. So obviously the market is a little bit neutral at this point. All right, here we go. We're going to try it to the long side again, and I'm going to swing for the fences on this one because there could be some giddy up here if we start to take out some of these highs, these swing highs. It's going to stop out some of these sellers, and we could see a little bit more bullish follow through, especially if we take out this one here near the 70-70 zone. That was some strong selling that was happening there. All right, do I dare bring my trade to break even? Okay, obviously I've got a fair amount of open profit in this trade right now. So if you are in this trade, don't be shy about taking the profit. I am going to try to run it. See if I can ride out this swing. We're going to get an early number one signal here. The signal will not print as a number one signal because the clouds are not fully crossed over yet, but that is what is happening. We are looking at the clouds beginning to cross. We got that pullback. If they continue in this direction, we should produce a buy signal, and that could be considered an early number one signal. All right, we got, obviously I thought we were going to see a little bit more pushback here at 70.70. They're stepping up early. So let's see. We're getting closer now to that number one signal. This, okay, now the early number one signal. And I guess I could probably cover here near the hard edge and the bar with this tail. Actually, I think I might adjust my profit target a little bit. 70, 75 is going to be an influential number. So I think we'll try to get out just a few ticks before that. Okay, I could throw a little trend line on here just as a guide. Come on, get up there. Here now, actually, the number one signal, which you can see, is a little bit later than the early number one signal. And maybe I'm going to get a little bit more aggressive here. We got a fair amount of open profit. And we are in this whole 70-70 zone. There we go. Okay, let me close that out. And you can see the quick little run up here to 70-75. Are we going to get a pushback? Or are they going to go straight on to the next resistance level at 70-78? Well, that's all right. That worked out pretty good. Oops. Just a slight hesitation here. Okay, and it looks like 70-75, in fact, holding now and pushing back. So I'm pleased with how that one worked out. All right, a little bit of a pushback now, which is to be anticipated. The number one signal here on the Raptor printing a little bit late, so a move back to the hard edge of the trading band, not really a surprise. Got a nice signal here on the Hawk as well. Our first micro, macro cross and macro pullback signals overlapping. Nice little trend change signal here on the Falcon. Oh, actually, you had a early trend change signal back here. That would have been about the same time we got in on that counter trend signal on the Raptor. Overall, though, pretty good day. Pretty good day. At least we saw some ranges today. So far, the day's still a little bit smallish, but better. Hooray. We get excited about a little bit of a ranging day. All right, here we go. Just kind of back and forth now. We may take this kind of tack going into the lunch hour. A little bit more neutral. All right, gang. We're going to wind things down here in a moment. The Bollinger is starting to go a little bit sideways again, which is suggestive of that squeeze formation, and that maybe we're going to get a breakout of sorts. If you are going to continue trading today, I'm not sure we're done with the pullback, but the trend definitely still down. We've made a decent move lower. I think we can probably anticipate, if the market isn't going to continue to trend lower on its own, I think maybe a little bit more, sideways trading may be the result. In which case, once we get up to the top end of this trading range, you can look for a reason to short. As we get toward the bottom end of the trading range, you can look for opportunities to buy. A little bit more activity than we have seen, but still relatively quiet range-wise overall. All right, gang. I will see you tomorrow. Be careful out there. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.